Why is the internet obsessed with images like these? These are liminal spaces, often defined as the time between what was and what's next, a place where we are conflicted between the familiar and the unknown. It's no surprise the word liminal itself derives from the Latin word limen, which literally means threshold. They can give you a sense of comfort, but also feel off-putting at the same time. These supposed dreamlike images can be found in many video games and movies. You've probably spent the majority of your life inside a liminal space without even realizing it. The internet has fallen in love with the feeling and the lore behind liminal spaces, and when they're paired with our own memories, music, or sounds we've once heard before, they can keep us frozen in a moment, acting almost like a time machine within a world that is created by our mind. So I think it's time we escape into the world, and the lack thereof, within liminal spaces. To truly grasp the fascination with liminal spaces, we have to take a closer look at some visual examples. Ordinary places like empty school courtyards or long hallways can transform into something completely opposite when you remove life or objects that make up the context for the room. These settings, which are typically nothing out of the ordinary in our daily lives, become eerie and oddly nostalgic when captured this way. As you can see in this image, it seems to be a library stripped of everything that made it a library. There's no books, no sign of people, just the smell of an old carpet and the soft warm glow emulating from numerous light bulbs. But liminal spaces don't always have to be taken from real life, like this photo of what many people like to define as the pool rooms. These types of liminal spaces are almost always digital renders, but why does it still give us the feeling like we've been there? Well, pool rooms are the perfect representation of a dream brought to life. They include a pool or water, which is one of the most dreamt about topics, while also blending together with things that wouldn't normally be found in a pool, such as hallways and exit signs. This weird middle ground of dreams and reality are what give that strange feeling when looking at these images. Another phenomenon you might be familiar with is the backrooms, and wondering what's the difference between the two. Well, all backrooms are liminal spaces, but not every liminal space is a backroom. Basically, liminal spaces are the rooms, whereas the backrooms refer to an alternate dimension in which holds these rooms and has what we call entities that roam the backrooms, but we'll touch more on that later. The two generally go hand in hand and gain popularity around the same time as each other, and it's a big thanks to TikTok. Found footage-esque videos of people exploring the backrooms started to pop up around 2022 and would catch the attention of users very quickly, but everything would shift once this video was released in May.
There exists a world that you can only reach between 3:30 and 3:33 a.m. Before you travel, I must advise you of a few rules.
The video amassed nearly 7 million likes and talks about a world you can only enter at a certain time. Immediately, more and more videos started popping up explaining how to get to and survive the backrooms, video games were being created, and this year A24 even picked up a movie based around the topic. It's probably due to the fact that the largest demographic that's on TikTok is 18 to 24-year-olds, the age range where you go through arguably one of the largest transitional periods in your life, entering adulthood. So it's no surprise that Liminal Spaces and Dreamcore have taken over the platform. An entire generation is officially becoming adults, and they have direct access to their memories and thousands of comments of people they can relate to over an experience. With all the attention around liminal spaces, followed another aspect that would help indulge viewers within the space even more: music. In the grand scheme of our lives, music and sounds are continuously weaving itself between memories, serving as the closest thing we have to a time machine. It unlocks long forgotten memories, transports us to distant moments, and connects us with our past in a way few other experiences can. And one of the best genres to do this is dark ambient music, pioneered by the YouTube channel and artists of Dreamscape. Almost anytime you find a TikTok about liminal spaces or nostalgia, it is almost always accompanied by their music. As the name would suggest, the music is ambient and slow, which makes sense why it would be paired so well with dreamlike images, because everything is usually slower in dreams. In the movie Inception, each dream within a dream that Cobb and his team go further into is much slower than the real world time. But one of the best examples of music for this genre is the Minecraft soundtrack by C418. Video games and other form of human creativity, such as movies, are very close to being liminal spaces themselves due to the nature of them being so closely related to dreams, both of which are an escape from a current reality, but arguably none of them do it better than Minecraft. The game itself can cause a slew of nostalgic emotions, with it being such a huge part of millions of kids' childhoods, only to hit an extreme low around 2018 and then be completely revived almost entirely off nostalgia. Paired with the lack of detail, shadows, and physics on top of the emptiness that fills the never-ending world. But it wouldn't feel the same if it weren't accompanied by the eerie yet comforting music that plays as you endlessly wander throughout the game. The nearly empty tracks mirror the gameplay so perfectly because Minecraft is, well, lonely. Listening to the songs by themselves gives that same off feeling that Dreamcore does because it's meant to be nothing but background ambiance, something you don't pay much attention to. So when you listen without the gameplay, it gives you the sense that something is missing. Source games are another notch on the liminal space belt, with both of them having an overwhelming amount of overlapping qualities. They're creepy, but vaguely nostalgic. They usually don't look real, but we felt like we've been there before. And they're both places that are meant to be filled with walks of life, but are empty. There's a popular phrase on TikTok that you probably have seen at the top of a comment section before, and it reads, "I've never had an original thought." This phrase is the exact reason why liminal spaces are so popular. For example, take a look at this picture of an empty school courtyard. This is the 4th most popular post in the Liminal Spaces Reddit of all time, with over 31,000 likes. But why? Well, if you were to look at the replies, you would see hundreds of comments talking about how they've seen this place in a dream before. The lack of dimension from the camera's point of view give the illusion that this picture looks like something right out of a Source game. Dreamscape is the commonly used term when talking about these types of liminal spaces, with the word being a combination of dream and landscape or escape. We often see examples of people using dreams as an escape in movies like Inception, Don't Worry Darling, and even children's movies like Sharkboy and Lavagirl, all of which use dreamlike atmospheres to escape from a reality, whether it be fighting parents, debt, or even the longing for perfection. Secondly, familiarity. Based on federal predictions, there's an estimated 50 million students enrolled in American public school, and of that number, 20 million of them attend a school in a suburban environment. And there's a very good chance that the majority of them have a courtyard or something similar that mirrors the one in the picture. This would explain why so many people have seen a place like this in their dreams. It's a place so many people have experienced, but not many people have paid enough attention to. Probably because a courtyard isn't usually a destination for people. It's a transitional space for people to get somewhere else, like a classroom, a cafeteria, or a gymnasium. This also includes doors, airports, hallways, all of which are a very common theme in the liminal spaces genre. There are even emotional liminal spaces, such as moving or a graduation. All of these places and feelings resort back to the same narrative: uncertainty. For example, think of a time in the past where you went to a place like a mall or another shared public space that you probably wouldn't spend much time in. The thought of something feeling off probably didn't even cross your mind. But when you focus attention to an in-between area that someone typically wouldn't think much of is arguably what makes liminal spaces have that distinct feeling. You're probably in a liminal space right now. Since we can't see into our future, our lives are consumed by uncertainty. You didn't know it at the time, but you once went outside with that friend group, played in the backyard with your siblings, and got online for the last time without even realizing it. Since we are always growing, all of those were just stops along our journey, and the only place we can freeze time and stay in those moments forever are within our dreams, a world created by memories.